My name is Jeanette Nordahl, and I am the director of Beginnings. Beginnings is a film about Ane and Thomas who are getting a divorce. Then Ane, the female character, has a stroke and they are forced to stay together, or they decide to stay together until she feels better. It's a film that's been with me for many years. I think I started putting the first word on paper around 6 years ago. But it's been with me for much longer than that. It's quite a personal story in the sense that illness has always been played a big part of my life, growing up and as a child, and basically my entire adulthood as well. So I think for me it's always been a story that's been quite close to heart, quite close to home. And you know, when you decide to write a story, when you've put that first word on page, what exactly makes you do that is a combination of many things. And I think I was just ready to tell the story. I think I've been thinking a lot about why we choose to do what we do and why I chose this film specifically. I think it's because I've been thinking a lot about what life consists of and how life just continues moving forward and forward, even from what we think we can't move forward from, if that makes sense. It wasn't difficult when we finally reached the shooting. What was difficult was in the writing and the creation of it, the development phase. I worked on the project myself for the first years. I did the treatment myself, and I wrote up until first draft. And I think by that time, it just felt like I was too close to everything. Like, I can't do this, and I told my producer quite dramatically, I'm not gonna do it, you know, it's too much. And then she was like, okay, listen, you know, let's try and find a way into this because it's a good story. And we invited Rasmus Birk on board, who's an amazing scriptwriter. And I think what he was capable of doing with the story he took it away from me, and he created something that was even better. And I was able to see it all kind of from afar. You know, when you're like this, you don't see anything. And he kind of took it out there for me. And I'm very grateful for that and for that collaboration. They are professional actors. The adults are professional actors. The kids hadn't done anything before, the teenager and the small daughter. Trine, who plays Ane, and David, who plays Thomas, they know each other quite well. And to create this relationship between them felt like a very generous experience. I think we were just quite curious in developing, you know, when you create something that's a relationship that's been lasting for 20 years, you need to be able to understand what the subtext is and how the dynamics suddenly have come, because 20 years of relationship has like a, you know, it kind of drives you onto a certain path. We worked quite, you know, the entire film was quite important that we put the characters first always. So everything is always created with the character in the center. The entire house is not chosen, that location wasn't chosen with, you know, like the idea, this is how the image should look like, this is the beautiful architect, this is what we want. We chose that house because this is where we thought the characters would buy that house, and we went online on all the, you know, to see where would they kind of buy. And the decoration of the house is something that they help with, all the actors, and the kids decorated their own rooms and stuff like that. So it was very much about trying to find how do we create this family and make it feel as truthful as possible. Then what we did is that I cast the periphery of the actors, so the cast, the periphery of the cast was cast by quite non-actors, like the neurologist, the MD, and the physiotherapist and stuff like that are people who are, it's their real trade. So we were able to create situations where they were basically just bringing themselves into it, and Trine just had to act accordingly to what they kind of gave her. I mean, working with kids is always like, it's like its own little thing. That character was actually on script a boy, and had been for, ever since it became, ever since I started writing it. But when I started casting for the part, I cast gender neutral. And it was all about finding that kid who could bring character into the piece and not just say lines, And Luna, who is that child, she came in with this amazing personality that I could just see I could drop into the family, and we could create something that would feel truthful.